Hey guys, I'm Ash. This is the 3 Count and you are watching a round table event for Survivor Series 2017 and NXT Takeover War Games. Now, I will be shortly joined in one of these corners by none other than Joel Christian. Now, I'm just going to ramble on a bit until I see that he's actually joining, and once he's joining, you're going to see me fiddle with the camera a little bit, so that way then I can get him on the screen so we can both have a bit of a talk, because it's not much of a round table if it's just me sitting here talking to you guys. So, so all we can do for the moment is wait. I'm going to fiddle on my laptop a minute while we wait, because everybody needs to fiddle on their laptop once in a while. Not like that. Dirty, dirty people. We will be going in a moment. How's your guys' day been? Good, I hope. I really hope, anyway. Everybody needs to have a good day. Oh, my laptop's going all higgledy-piggledy here, guys. Good start, good start. Do. As we all know, Survivor Series and NXT Takeover War Games took place over the last weekend. War Games taking place on November the 18th, and Survivor Series taking place on November the 19th. Actually a pretty good show, you'll hear from me in a moment. I'm gonna click that. Put it down there. No idea what I'm doing. This is the first time. Hopefully, after this has gone live and it's gone up, we'll be able to edit some of this out. This la-di-da-di-da. But, you know how it is. Technology. I'm not the best with technology. I'm really good with Xbox and PlayStation and all sorts of video games. Whoa, that is the extent of my technological advancements. I don't know if you guys have ever done like videos before, but do you ever think that when you've done a video you sound completely different, on a video than you do in real life? That's what I find like I am. I probably do sound different today because I am actually, I do have a sore throat. It's not the best of throats neither, I'm quite That should have been sorted now. You guys can all follow me on Twitter, on Snapchat, Xbox Live, basically any social media platform you'll find me on. Instagram is in there as well, at the Ash of Awesome. One word. Did try for Ash of Awesome, but somebody else on the planet has got that name. Quite disappointed. Unfortunately, I can't find that person either. But I am there. Follow me on all social media. Remember to follow and like the Facebook page for the 3 Count as well, guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. We do highly appreciate the support you show, the fact that you view our videos, you participate. Thank you very much. Let me just yeah, nin. Waiting a moment. Oh, I hate technology. Really do. It's possibly the worst video that I've ever done. But I digress, that always happens. It always happens. Ooh. Wait a minute. No idea what I'm doing. None at all. I can't even get my laptop to work properly. Never made this look so bad. Never ever. Oh, this is appalling. This is bad. Come on, Facebook. It's going well. This is going well. Very well. Oh. Yeah. Weirdy, weirdy, way. I can see that you're watching, Joel. You're obviously going to get us a few seconds late. But I can't add you to the chat, to the view, for some reason. Because you don't have a camera thing available on your section. So I don't know if you're not using a phone or a back camera, I don't know. Either way, you're not popping up. Someone else was able to pop up just now. I could have invited some random person to our page for the chat, but wouldn't have worked as well. So, just going to try and sort this out. Don't know how I'm going to sort this out. It's here somewhere. It is here. I don't know where. I will find it. Somewhere. I don't know why I'm leaning over. I could just literally place my laptop like right in front of my face and be able to do it that way. I think that would be so much more easy, streamlined. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point in time. Just literally eating up time. Oh, I hate laptops. I do. I don't know why I have one. I really don't know why I've got one. It's one of the most annoying things I've ever bought. Yet I have one. Oh, I can't. Does anybody else want to do this for me? Because I can't. My technology sucks. Really does suck. Yeah. Anywho, just gonna quickly segue into something else while I'm waiting, because I'm guessing it's problems on my end. Probably, but I am trying to sort it out. Either way, you had an NXT Takeover this weekend with the War Games, which is for the first time in about 20 years. Hang on. I think I've got it. Wait. Either I've done it or Joel has. Either way, one of us has got it. One moment. I think we've done it. Let's see. It is loading. We will get there. We are getting there. Slowly, but surely, this will work. I'll make sure of it. Because we needed to. We kind of do need to make this an actual roundtable event. If not, we will still be broadcasting live via Skype if this does not work. Hey! We've got it! Finally! It's working.
Boom!
How are you doing, dude?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm currently watching myself on 2 different screens yelling, hey!
Yeah, I've literally got myself in the corner as well. It's finally good to have you on. This is actually historic now, because this is the first time that you and I have been on screen at the same time since we started the 3 count.
Fuck, yeah, that's actually really true.
So, this is groundbreaking television, if you want to call it that. Oh.
Call it whatever you want.
Well, I'm calling it television.
Looking,
This is what I'm calling television. You seem to be upside down. There we go.
Yeah, I thought I could rotate my phone because I keep looking over there, but the camera's over here.
Yeah, I've got the same problem. For anybody watching, I'm never ever looking at the screen when I'm talking to you guys. I got the camera's here, my screen's here. Weird. Anywho, NXT Takeover. We had that this weekend. NXT Takeover War Games from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. We had 2 dark matches, which I think aired last night on NXT, but I'm not too sure. I haven't seen last night's NXT yet, which is quite disappointing.
I haven't seen last night's NXT either, actually.
I'll be watching it after this live stream. I will be watching it. Oh, you silly.
Tape does not work.
Are you taping it to the wall?
Electrical tape does not work. I was taping it to my computer off the monitor.
I literally had to go. I've got a stand, but that's how mine's working.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe duct tape would have been better, but I don't have duct tape.
well,
But yeah,
that'll be something to invest in.
yeah. What was your favorite match? What was your favorite match from War Games?
Oh, see, I'm tied between either Aleister Black versus Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream, or the War Games match itself. I can't.
The War Games match was pretty damn
I
good.
can't choose between the two. They were both pretty damn good matches. Amazing for both,
Yeah.
especially for Velveteen Dream. His character in that match grew exponentially. I think that we saw a massively different side, a way more talented version of the Velveteen Dream than we've seen before on NXT. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's Patrick. He's Patrick Clark from Tough Enough.
He is, yeah.
We all see while watching Tough Enough. I thought he was like the guy to win it. I really thought he should be the guy to win it.
He was
because he was just so incredible.
He was good on it. He did have a few matches on NXT as well as Patrick Clark, but then for some reason they took him off of TV and put him in. You know, obviously they're gonna put him into the what's the name of the center, the performance center.
The performance center.
They checked him in the performance center, and well, it obviously worked for him because he's now heading to takeovers. He's doing all sorts like that. So it's obviously worked for him, and he's doing so much better than the actual Tough Enough winner, because the Tough Enough winner isn't even in WWE anymore.
No.
So
no, he was released like last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't long ago.
Like how long after he won?
Yeah, he didn't even get any TV time after Tough Enough. Is a bit disappointing for him, really, and just goes to show how bad Tough Enough really is nowadays.
Yeah. It was pre-booked. There's no way that was like decided by the fans for him to win.
No.
No one wanted him to win.
There was more. Like the guys from Tough Enough did show up at an NXT event once, and the guy that won it, I don't think was even in the crowd, and the other guys got so many more cheers and got much bigger pops than the eventual winner, if he was there at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The person that people seemed to want to win was ZZ.
Yeah.
I liked ZZ. I liked him. He was a fun personality. He was fun.
Which is rare.
And that's the thing you need.
You do need it.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through
you don't get enough.
Do you want to go through a rundown of the matches in NXT Takeover?
Start us off, man.
Right. I'll skip the dark matches just in case nobody has seen NXT from last night. Like, I've ruined it for myself by doing the research. It's kind of obvious the results anyway, but we'll start with the first match of the night, which was Lars Sullivan defeating Cassius Ohno. Thoughts?
What are they doing with Ohno, man? Chris Hero is such a good wrestler.
I'm surprised he's not on the main roster by now. He's been in...
He should be on the main roster, shouldn't he?
He was in development.
You know why it is?
He was in developmental once a few years ago, and then they fired him. Then he came back, with a much invigorated passion. You could see he really wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And they've just sort of killed his character dead.
Well, he was supposed to be Roman Reigns. He was supposed to be where Roman is now.
He was the original member of
the third member of the Shield.
Yeah. I remember it being between those three.
They just kind of they just ballsed him up because he's. If you watch his indie matches, he's so good.
Oh, he is.
Like even though he weighs more than average, and this is coming from someone who also weighs a lot more than average, that man can go.
Oh, he can.
That man can do shit that some of the cruiserweights can't do.
You can look at Samoa Joe for further examples of how talented big guys are nowadays in WWE. Like Samoa Joe, like Brock Lesnar, for example. Brock Lesnar's able to hit shooting star presses, moonsaults, and everything. And another guy that is insanely big, but flies like a cruiserweight, which is unbelievable. But Cassius has, if in his indie matches when he was tag teaming with Cesaro, Claudio, I think they called him back then because that is his real name.
Claudio Castagnoli.
Yes. So the matches he was having with him were just absolutely remarkable. I can remember several matches of him in CZW. I can remember him being in ROH and just knocking it out of the park. And when he came back to NXT, he had such fire and such a good push behind him, and they just sort of let it all go with the Hideo Itami rivalry.
Yeah, man. Well, it's just kind of what happens these days. If you're not what they want, you won't get anywhere.
Which is unfortunate.
They brought Cassius because he was doing well on the indie scene, and they don't like it when their ex-wrestlers do well on the indie scene.
Which is really good for like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega doing really well, and he's got zero interest really in joining the WWE. And more power to him. As much as I'd love to see Omega in WWE, which is what I hope is going to happen with the Chris Jericho rivalry at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't see him actually becoming a full-time WWE guy for said reasons. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's very vocal about his dislike of WWE.
Oh, he is.
He's very vocal of how much he dislikes, like the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, they voice their displeasure to the WWE every fucking day.
They've got a T-shirt
like
voicing that dislike. I love it. The cease and
exactly.
desist. Love it.
The funny thing is, actually, the WWE cannot actually enforce a copyright on this. You can't actually enforce a copyright on a hand gesture.
Can you not?
As it legally turns out. No.
Oh, I did not
so,
know this.
The Young Bucks can do whatever they like. Young Bucks can do whatever they like.
That's brilliant. Like there was also a cease and desist sent out, I believe, to Will Ospreay about his paw is paw, only because Natalya has got a cat-themed outfit. I think that's a bit low of WWE. Although Big E did take the mickey out of them though, because there was a unicorn advert that went out, and Big E went to Twitter and asked if WWE have got any more cease and desist orders to give away. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Classic.
Dude, Big E on Twitter just does not give a shit.
Does not. It's brilliant. I love superstars that can do that. He doesn't. It's great.
Oh, you know who really doesn't give a shit?
Go on.
Daniel Bryan.
Oh, no. He's been counting down his days to a match with Cody Rhodes. Oh,
yeah.
I really hope
just watch him on Talking Smack.
Oh, yeah. I'd see when he would turn around about the Usos and the New Day, their rap battle, and each turn around, he's brought up the fact of the whole Xavier Woods and Paige sex video as well. And he just brought that up. Like, obviously, SmackDown weren't even supposed to reference it. And then Daniel Bryan brings it up. Did you see Renee Young's face? It was worth 1,000 words. Yeah. I loved it. Fantastic, man. Oh, he's brilliant. But we are actually getting more passion talking about Lars Sullivan and Cassius Ohno. This is a brilliant start to a round table.
It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't bad. But it wasn't anything special. It wasn't what I expect from NXT. I think when I look at NXT, I expect good matches. They could have defended Cassius a little more. I know they want to make Lars look like the next big monster, like NXT's version of Braun Strowman. But I think they could have allowed the match to go on just a little bit longer. All right, give Lars about 10 minutes worth of complete dominance towards the end, but at least let Cassius come out of the gate strong. You know, with like a good 5 minutes, because I think the match only went for about 9 minutes. But you could have let Cassius have like the first 5 minutes showing, you know, I'm the veteran, I should be winning this match. Just to have Lars then it would have been okay for him to turn on and absolutely destroy him. That would have worked fine for me. Yeah. Well, by the looks of it, Lars won't be in NXT for long because he's being pushed hard to the main roster. As reported by a lot of news sites. There's a good way to look at that. Quoted by Dave Meltzer. Well, he's been on NXT. He's been in NXT for a good while, but he's only been in prominence now for about 3 or 4 months, and already has been put as a DLC for WWE 2K18. And you know, you can tell that WWE are pushing him hard for that fact, because there are superstars in NXT that deserve that sort of exposure, that have been there for longer and still are left on the roadside. Yeah. It's quite disappointing. I personally, I was really disappointed that I couldn't have the UK championship guys as a DLC.
That is the most disappointing thing about 2K18. I think I think
Yeah.
everything else on it was fine. All the characters are good. But you could have at least chucked the main 5 guys, which was Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Wolfgang, and Mark Andrews. That would have worked, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And in the game, Wales is an actual place you can put as your hometown now.
Really?
I'm not even joking. You can put yourself from either Cardiff, Newport, or Swansea. That's awesome. They're all completely optional places. That's the best thing that came out of it.
Also, I'm glad I turned Google on. Yeah. I'm glad I turned Google on, because now I got proper light in my face.
I can see now, you're shiny. But yeah, that was disappointing. But yeah, Lars Sullivan, I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I think he's got a good gimmick. No. I think his gimmick is pretty good. His music is really, really definitive. I really do enjoy his music, with the whole womanly scream, the deafening guitar. I think it's good for somebody you want to put as a monster. Just listen to Braun Strowman's for an example of that.
Yeah.
It just, Brock Lesnar doesn't have any voices in his, but it's just the way the music plays. You already get a sense of how big this person's going to be. And hopefully, I hope it works out for Lars, because I don't like seeing anybody fail. So, if they are going to push him, and they're pushing him well, hopefully when he does go to the main roster, they don't drop the ball like they did with Sami Zayn, like they did with Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor. I'd like to see one guy succeed. Now, we will get to Sami for you later, because I know you and Sami. I do know. So when we get to Survivor Series, you are more than happy to give everybody a wee preview of your why the fuck on Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about Sami Zayn.
I look forward to it.
Although, in regards to Finn Balor, he didn't so much fail at first. At first, he was booked.
Oh, he was booked.
He went over Roman Reigns
first, yeah.
It was that one injury, and then all of a sudden.
But then why not continue the fire? Like, he was supposed to be in the Royal Rumble in January against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
And they've taken him out.
But it would have been a great match.
Oh yeah, it would have. Just look at the match AJ and Brock had over the weekend. Look at the match AJ and Finn had at the previous Raw pay-per-view.
Exactly.
It shows that these stars do need a chance, do need that spotlight. Otherwise, your company's not going to go anywhere. You're just continuously opting to bring in other superstars from other companies, and you're just wasting them. I know Finn Balor is an NJPW guy, but he's young. He's in his early 30s, but he's young. Is he in his early 30s? Maybe in his late 20s. I think it's early 30s. But he's got so much more. He's got a good few years left in his career where you can push him as hard and as far as possible. And
definitely,
when he came back, that was a perfect opportunity for him to have, before chasing the Universal title, he could have easily jumped into a rivalry with Seth Rollins to, get him back for the injury, get that over with about 1 or 2 months worth of fighting, and then get on to Brock Lesnar for the championship. I think that would have worked quite smoothly.
Yeah. One of the problems they had with with Finn getting injured was they lost their top face.
Yes.
On Raw. That's why they turned Seth face so
soon.
They
did it very badly.
No, I love Seth as a face. I love Seth as a face, but they could have done the turn better.
The turn was pretty scrappy. You can't just have one bad guy turn on another bad guy to make a good guy. It doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
It would have come along a lot better if you had some sort of redemption arc, or I don't know, but it just didn't come across as cleanly as it possibly could have, and that quite disappoints me.
Yeah. But anyway, next match.
Yes, we do keep we ain't very streamlined on these shows, are we? We do get the stuff.
It's a round table. We round back.
We do. That is a good point. The next match of the night was Aleister Black defeating Velveteen Dream.
Oh, Aleister Black is such a good wrestler.
I do love Aleister Black. The first time though, I'm gonna hold my hand up. The first time I ever heard of Aleister Black was at the WWE UK Championship tournament, where he faced Neville. That was the first time I ever saw Tommy End, and then I went back then because I knew he was coming to the WWE, and I watched his indie matches as Tommy End on like Progress, ICW, all the other companies. And I went back, watched a few, and I really, really got into his wrestling style.
Yeah. Well, he's got a very CM Punk wrestling style.
I thought that. I'm glad I'm not the only one to think that.
He's like the next CM Punk.
Yes, he's got
the
same sort of attitude, the same sort of charisma. He's like CM Punk, but he's like the muted version. He keeps himself to himself, but everything about him screams CM Punk. Whereas everybody can say that CM Punk was like the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, the person that went against the authority, sort of went his own path. And I think that Alistair's got that air about him where he just doesn't give a shit, basically. And that's great.
Exactly.
It is great.
Well, yeah, we need more people like that. We need more people that the crowd can properly get behind.
Definitely. Because, it just creates a more realistic tone to what you're seeing in the ring. If you're seeing these guys, that don't look like your stereotypical, I'll put on a pair of, trunks, and then, just go out and be the happy-go-lucky, say your prayers and eat your vitamins. God, I hate Hulk Hogan. But
I hate Hulk Hogan.
He's so boring. But, he's him. He's somebody that the WWE would not have brought into the company, say, definitely not in the 80s. Maybe towards the Attitude Era is where they started leaning into it a bit. Yeah. But even if you go back and look at the Attitude Era, you didn't see guys like Aleister Black. Like, maybe some guys had somewhat similar ring styles. Maybe those guys had somewhat of a similar look. And that is stretching it, because Aleister Black is very unique. But, I'm a very big Attitude Era fan, because that was, where I was brought up. I've watched wrestling since I was born. And that is like my, my heyday. It's my nostalgia thing. But there is absolutely no doubt that the superstars that the WWE have got today, whether it's WWE or NXT, the superstars they have now far surpass any superstar. I don't care who it is in the Attitude Era. Stone Cold, The Rock, who else you got? DX. These guys surpass them. I'm taking Shawn Michaels out of the DX equation, because for the entire Attitude Era, Shawn Michaels was injured with a back injury. So can't really count Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart went to WCW. So the guys we have now, their talent pool is much deeper, much better than anything I think we've ever seen before. And Aleister Black, at the moment, epitomises that within NXT.
Yeah. Well, let me bring back Daniel Bryan to the conversation. Before WrestleMania 30, when was the last time you heard a chant or a crowd that loud for one person?
Christ, you'd have to actually look back. Well, I know CM Punk had a pretty big following, but nowhere near the likes that Daniel Bryan had. I think that the closest you can look at is probably Stone Cold back in like 97, just because of his rivalry with Bret Hart. Other than that, I don't think that's already about 15 years worth of difference. And it just shows how dry the talent pool was to bring it up to Daniel Bryan standards then for WrestleMania 30.
Exactly. We need more people that can capture the crowd like him.
Yeah.
Aleister Black seems like the next big guy.
Like he does. He really
does. If they play it right, he'll be the next big guy. He'll be the next Punk.
See, as much as I love SmackDown, I really think that Aleister Black would fit nicely into like the Raw picture, with the style that they do with Raw. I think it'd be good to insert him, chuck him into a nice Intercontinental Championship reign, straight off the bat. I mean, don't even, let him have a month worth of jobbers, fine, but then straight for the Intercontinental Championship. Hopefully, Roman Reigns would still be the champion, just to knock him down a peg or two, and then let Brock go off into the limelight, let him beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. You can have Alistair then with a nice, healthy Intercontinental Championship reign. Drop it to somebody then worthy that needs to lead the mid card before bumping Alistair then up to the the main event, taking on people like Brock Lesnar, because that is a match I would love to see. Alistair versus Brock. That'd be brilliant. Matches that you could have on Raw. Alistair versus Samoa Joe. Alistair versus Finn Balor. Alistair versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
Oh.
You could put the name Aleister Black and I put it next to any other guy, and you've already got yourself a Match of the Year candidate. Because Aleister Black
Exactly.
is that good, and I really hope WWE realise the star that they've got on NXT.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that we get Aleister Black versus Pete Dunne while he's down there.
That would be amazing.
Because, yeah, I love British style wrestling.
It's great.
And I think that it works really well with the Japanese style.
It meshes really well. Like, you got the Japanese style wrestling, you got British strong style, you know, the sort of tough, you know, like this knee strikes is mainly Japanese, you know, all feet, powerful legs, but then you've got the amazing technical stability of the UK wrestlers. Like, if you saw that how much technicality went in during the UK Championship tournament, oh, the depth was so amazing, and then you got to see like the high flying capability of Neville taking on Aleister Black, and I actually thought whilst watching that match, the Black was probably going to win instead of give him a push going into NXT.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they didn't, and they did go with Neville, considering what would happen then with 205 Live. So, you know,
Yeah.
I am quite happy that, you know, as much as I love certain characters, a loss in a storyline is exactly what you need to push them a little further.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've talked about Aleister Black. We've got Velveteen Dream also in the match as well. What do you think about him? What do you think about Patrick?
So, I think he's a gold dust.
Yes.
He's going to be loved. He's going to have a big following. But ultimately, he's never going to be the guy.
No.
He's never going to be the biggest guy.
No.
But that's okay. Not everyone has to be the biggest guy.
You need a mid-card. You know?
Yeah.
You do need a mid-card. I think that he'd be a perfect... See, now he would fit better on SmackDown. If you ask, you know, in my opinion, you know, it doesn't really matter whether it's, you know, the US or Intercontinental title. You know, they're interchangeable, really. But he would make, you know, a good US champion. You know, I think he'd bring a little bit of style to it. You know, he'd put his own little twist on it, like with the whole rivalry that he has with Aleister Black, with the whole, you know, say my name. Like, if you watched WWE's YouTube channel after NXT went off the air, you saw Velveteen Dream sitting backstage getting interviewed, and that's all Velveteen Dream said was, he said my name, and he just started smiling. So, you know, as far as the match goes, both of the guys won. You know, Aleister won the match. Velveteen got what he wanted. He didn't care about the match. He wanted, you know, the approval, let's say, of Aleister Black. Now, Velveteen, I thought that, you know, the rivalry he had with Black was a lot deeper and a lot more personal than most of the personal rivalries you'll find on the main roster. Now, I might sound a bit weird for this, but I really, really liked the sexual tension that was going on between Black and Dream. Like, whenever Dream would, like, get up in his face and, you know, kind of, like, do the whole, you know, Goldust style, you know, touching of his body and, you know, just really pushing it on. Like, the very first time those two were in the ring together when Velveteen interrupted Aleister, and, you know, Aleister got to his into his sitting down position. Velveteen then got, like, right up in his face whilst lying down. I really, really thought that he was going to kiss him. And I thought, I all the way through, that's the one thing I wanted out of this rivalry, was for Velveteen, whilst, I don't know, Aleister was in the ropes or in his sitting down position, to just kiss him. That's it. Just to see how Black would react. And you know the fans would go absolutely nuts if that happened. And I would have.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the Attitude Era where Goldust was coming out, and, you know, it was a little bit more homophobic back in those days, so that's why they were giving Goldust that, you know, that gimmick. But he made it work. And, you know, he came out, you know, as a sex slave. He came out, you know, touched up the wrestlers. Now, you don't need to go that far to add tension to your matches. And I think that you can feel the tension between the Dream and Black. And I thought that was just perfection.
Yeah. Well, Goldust dry humped the Undertaker, and that's all we need to say about that.
Yes. That just shows the mind that Vince McMahon has and what he finds hysterical.
Yeah. So now I believe we're on Ember Moon versus...
Yes, the NXT Women's Championship. The fatal four-way between Ember Moon, who was the eventual winner, taking on Kairi Sane, the winner of the Mae Young Classic, taking on Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce, who was accompanied by Billie Kay.
Yeah.
That is match number 3.
I got it right.
Yeah.
It was a pretty it was definitely a good match.
Yes, it was. I quite enjoyed it.
So from Ember Moon and Kairi Sane, I'd expect more from those two.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that they'll do a singles match between those two at some point.
I'm hoping so.
And that will be pretty damn perfect.
Well, one person that surprised me in that match was Peyton Royce. Now, she took a kicking in that match. At the end of the match, she took 2 finishers and was still in the ring towards the end. And that, for the character that she's been given of the ditzy girl, she comes across as a really good fighter, and I think that she could do well without Billie Kay. I think, Billie Kay is still a bit green in the ring, but I think Peyton is perfectly capable now of going forward alone.
Of holding her own, like.
I think she has the skill to make it on her own, whether it means continuing in NXT on her own or bumping up to the main roster. Like, I don't want her to go to the main roster yet, because this week we've had 6 women from NXT go up, which...
Yeah, that was insane.
That was a bit weird. I think SmackDown got the better half of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the reason that SmackDown got the better ones is because Raw got Paige back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That was a big Raw.
I had a gut feeling after seeing those 3 come back on Raw. I thought Ruby was going to debut on SmackDown, but I didn't see her bring in Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan with her. I didn't see that happening, though.
Yeah.
But back to the match.
It was a
like you said, Ember Moon and Kairi Sane, you said you could have seen a lot more out of those. And I totally agree. Kairi Sane, when she was in New Japan, she was possibly the best women's wrestler at the time. After like Asuka left and came over, I kind of thought they might put the championship on her as a kind of, we've had one Japanese star and she couldn't lose it properly, so maybe we'll put it on another Japanese star, and when she loses it, it'll kind of be like the same person lost it. And I thought that's what would have happened. Now, if it was on WWE, that might have happened. But because it's Triple H and he can see where the talent needs to go, I think they made a smart move in giving it to Ember, with a nice touch of Asuka giving it to her at the end of the match as well. But yeah, I agree with you when you said they could have done a lot more with those 2 stars, because they were definitely outshone by Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce.
Well, I think we just need to wait for a singles match between them.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need for those two to properly show us what they're capable of doing together. They need to put on a proper singles match.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Kairi Sane's matches in the Mae Young Classic, it was called the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah,
right?
It was. No. Mae Young Classic.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Cruiserweight Classic, and then I was like, am I sure this is right? But yeah, it was right. I really liked the Mae Young Classic.
I really enjoyed it.
I liked a lot of I liked nearly all of the competitors.
Jazzy Gabert was my personal favourite of the tournament. She was literally eliminated in the first match, but she just left such an impression on me that I really, really want her to come back to the WWE, because the audience really got behind her as well, and we're even chanting for Triple H to sign Gabert on, and I really hope he does, because she was, she's like a prodigy, and she's a bit much to let go, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, my favourite person in that entire thing was Piper.
Yeah, I love Piper Niven.
She was
amazing. Yeah, she got a lot further than I thought.
Yeah. Well, we already knew about her because you watched WCPW.
Yes.
I'm guessing. Yeah, we already knew how good she was because she was there. and she put on some good matches there.
Oh, yeah, she did, definitely.
But yeah, I didn't expect her to win. Obviously,
no, I thought it was obviously going to. It was between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler. That's why I picked out straight from the beginning.
Yeah,
and they were the final two. It was kind of readable.
Yeah, well, it's like the Cruiserweight Classic. Yeah. It's like the Cruiserweight Classic in that aspect. You could kind of tell who was going to win the Cruiserweight Classic from the get-go.
Yeah.
Although I expected the final to be Kota Ibushi versus TJ Perkins.
See, Kota Ibushi was who I had my money on from the start, and if it wasn't going to be Kota, I thought it might have been Zack. Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, Zack. Yeah.
Those were the two that I thought were going to win, and then neither of them even got to the finals. But,
yeah.
Just goes to show that sometimes they can throw a curveball in. I kind of knew TJP was going to make it, because they were kind of building him up all the way through the tournament. So he was kind of, transparent. And then they chucked Gran Metalik in.
What's he been doing? Yeah.
But did you know that for the Mae Young Classic, there was supposed to be a Welsh woman in there?
Nixon Newell. She went to high school with a good friend of mine.
Did she really?
She not sure if she still does, but she used to train the women at Dragon Pro Wrestling.
Well, she's gone now. She's currently signed to NXT. So, hopefully now that there's space now in the women's division, obviously I think that they've chucked the guys from NXT, the women's division, onto the main roster to make more room for the Mae Young Classic division to come on in. So like Toni Storm. I don't think Viper has come into a proper contract. Viper Niven, I don't think she's come in fully yet. Yeah. I think Toni Storm has just signed on. I know Dakota Kai is going to be there. Who else we got? Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano's wife. Kaylee Ray apparently is supposed to be there. Kimberly. What was it? Abby Lath, they named her in WWE, but Kimberly is what I know her better as. She's also been signed. So I'm thinking they're making loads of space to try and fill in now. Like, obviously, the 4 women that were in the NXT Women's Championship match, all of them are staying within NXT for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
They obviously need to keep them in. They need to give them a bit of a push now that Asuka is gone. They need to revitalise the division. I think they could have kept some of the superstars that they pushed up down. Like, I don't know why Mandy Rose went up. I don't know why she went up. And I don't know why Sarah Logan went up neither. Because those guys have had barely any TV time. And they were shoved onto the main roster. And that was a bit confusing to me. I can understand the others.
Yeah.
But just not supposed to. But, that was the women's match. As we keep dissipating everywhere. The next match of the night.
We go on tangents, but that's where a round table is.
I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's working well. Next match of the night, match number 4, which was the biggest shock of the night, if you ask me. The NXT Championship match between the defending champion Drew McIntyre and Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega.
I honestly expected Drew to walk out of that without a problem.
Yeah, me too.
Without even an issue. Because Cien has been booked to shit over the last year.
Yeah.
He's been the guy who gets smacked around.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But
originally it was supposed to be Adam Cole in this match, wasn't it? It was supposed to be Adam Cole versus Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that was the original push with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee, to the point where Shawn Michaels even took to Twitter holding a referee's jersey, saying that he was going to be at the event refereeing that specific match. And then maybe they did that just to try and shy away with, shoo the fans and think maybe there wasn't a War Games match and this is what they were going to see instead. Maybe it was a whole, like a cover-up to try and make you look somewhere else when they're preparing that over there. Maybe.
A diversion.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. But, I would have liked to see that match, but I'm quite happy that we got the War Games instead. I wasn't expecting a lot from that match, but I got a lot more than I thought was going to happen. But we'll get to the War Games match in a moment.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the championship change? What was you thinking upon first?
It was good. I thought it was good, but I thought there was something wrong in the match with McIntyre, and I think everyone noticed there was something wrong with him. He wasn't performing. It was something to do with his jaw, wasn't it? He injured his jaw.
He injured his jaw, but then he legitimately he took a top rope move as well, like a DDT from the top rope. And as he was holding onto the rope, he didn't let it go, and he can. I think he's torn like his bicep or something as well during the match.
Torn bicep.
You know, that's what I think happened towards the end.
Yeah, it might be his tricep.
I'm no good with body parts. But
yeah, all you gotta remember: biceps at the top, triceps at the back.
One of them.
He injured one of those two.
He did. It's one of them.
He injured part of his massive bare arm.
Yes, fucking massive. But he did get dropped, and you could see it when the move was hit on him that he was hurt. But I think the CM Championship is too little, too late for his character. Like when they brought CM into the WWE, I thought he was going to be like the next big thing for WWE. You know, they were pushing him quite hard when he first joined, but then for some reason they just sort of let him go as the likes of, like, I don't know, Samoa Joe came in. I think Samoa Joe and Finn Balor were already there, but Bobby Roode, for instance, came in. You have all these other superstars that are coming in and just overshadowing, which is why I think WWE need to start focusing a little bit more on homegrown talent, not just, you know, stealing away talent from other promotions.
Yeah. Also, it was his bicep.
It was his bicep.
I just googled it.
Well, at least we know that.
Although, good news of Drew McIntyre is that he's supposedly will be back in time for WrestleMania.
That's a good sign.
And he will be coming up to the main roster. And I don't know why he went to NXT. That's what weirded me out, because he was already on the main roster.
I'm quite happy he did, though. I am quite happy he did.
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe if they chucked him onto the main roster straight away, they might have only just chucked him as like a mid-card sort of guy. Which
he would have come down in a kilt.
Yeah.
He would have come down like in a
flag
kilt,
waving in the air.
Williams got playing bagpipes on a fucking unicycle.
Vince would have found that hysterical.
Like,
you never know. WrestleMania, if Vince gets his way, there could be a 3MB reunion in that case.
Oh, yeah. Even though,
we all know that you love Jinder so much. Love it.
I fucking love him.
He's brilliant.
Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Jinder. I don't hate Jinder.
He was actually,
believe
it or not, he was actually starting to grow on me right at the end. And I mean, like, I don't mean like a lot. Like, I still disliked him. But...
Well, as a heel, he was kind of growing on you as a heel then? Like, you were like, okay, I understand why
as an all-round
they're doing what they're doing.
Superstar, like, his mic performance was getting a lot better. He was still bad, don't get me wrong, he was still bad. But from where he was when he started his title reign, it was a lot better. His in-ring ability improved because of who they were actually putting him in matches with, such as Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles. You know, you could see the improvements, luckily. So hopefully, because there is a rumor that AJ is going to drop the championship back to Jinder now at Clash of Champions.
And then Jinder will win it. Jinder will drop it to Cena at Mania.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that. Cena has earned his last title.
I'd rather see Cena winning off AJ.
That would be pretty damn incredible.
AJ and John put on, match of the year candidates every time those two are in the ring together. Like, over the past few years, I haven't liked John Cena. I've absolutely despised him. I respect everything he does in the ring, and I really desperately want him to go to Raw, win the Intercontinental Championship, just so he can become Grand Slam champion. And that's not despite Roman Reigns by any means. But I've been saying now for about 2 or 3 years that he's done everything else. Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, he's won Elimination Chambers, Hell in a Cells, he's won countless rivalries, but he's never ever become Grand Slam champion. He's never even won the Triple Crown because he hasn't won the Intercontinental. And
it's insane.
For a guy that they push as the face of the company, this is something that he really should have won by now. 15-year career. It's quite disappointing that he hasn't.
But the fact that Roman Reigns is now a Grand Slam champion, does that put it into perspective how bad that is?
Yeah,
Cena has been like the big guy for all this time.
And then still, don't get me wrong, like I'm quite happy. Like for the first time in ages, when John was going up against Roman Reigns, was the first time I was actually sitting there going, "Go on, John, please win." I knew he wasn't gonna. We all knew that Roman was gonna win that match.
And John was gonna shake his hand and be like, "Oh, he earned my respect today."
Well, I was actually hoping that was gonna be a payoff, like at Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble, spread it out. Let Roman win one, then John win one, and then have a proper big grudge match, and that's where John finally shakes his hands. Because it kind of seemed a bit far-fetched to me, with all of the insults that they were throwing at each other, and then John just go, "Well done, guy." That came out of left field, if you ask me.
Yeah. Although what I am going to say is, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I think that the person that John, if he's going to win his final title, it should be against Kurt Angle.
The guy that brought him into the company.
The guy who brought him into the company. If anyone was going to be the guy to give him the send-off, or if anyone's going to give Kurt Angle a send-off, it should be John Cena.
See, do you know that I'm going to disagree with you, but there as well. I think the person to give Kurt Angle a send-off should be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, okay.
That's who I think.
I'm not even going to argue with you on that. Every time they went against each other, they put on a 5-star match.
And one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar, WWE Championship match, SmackDown. Back in 2003, I think. Oh, such a good match. That's
Iron Man match, right?
If you're gonna put Kurt Angle out, do it with Brock.
Exactly.
That would be great. Even if it was at say next year's SummerSlam, because I don't think Kurt's got that much longer left in him. You can tell by the way he walks.
No.
So, but I hope it's Brock, personally.
Yeah. Well, realistically speaking, Kurt Angle should not be wrestling anymore with the neck the way it is. I don't understand how he got cleared, because Edge's injury was so much less than that.
And they took him out.
Yeah.
They know
Daniel.
They know that.
Is that more than Daniel Bryan?
They know that people know who Kurt Angle is. Maybe Vince's thinking was, we bring Kurt Angle back into the fold, and if we do that, all the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era fans will come back in droves, and that's just not happened.
Yeah,
it's not happened.
It's the same way they brought Mick Foley back.
Yeah, there's just no call for it really. But
I love Mick Foley, but he wasn't a good GM.
No, he wasn't.
He was never the greatest at talking.
No.
When he was Mankind, I loved it. But when he was Mick Foley, he just stumbled over himself.
All the time.
And it was so sad to see him in the ring forgetting his lines. Forgetting what he was supposed to say.
It was really upsetting because he was so great back in the late 90s. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But there was one time on an episode of Raw where he came in his general manager outfit. He was wearing a tie. If you go into my Facebook and go through the photos about a year ago.
Lost Dragon tie?
My friend gave it to him.
Really?
Yeah. My friend's...
That's actually...
Yeah, my friend who lives in Merthyr gave that tie to him in Cardiff. So, little tidbit for you. But that's gone so far from the NXT Championship. Talking about future WrestleMania matches and how we should retire Kurt Angle.
Yeah, man. Oh, my friend says they should bring Pete Dunne to Raw properly. He'll bring more viewership from the indie fans as well as casual fans. Yeah, I agree.
That would work. But then who are you going to have on your UK division? Who are you going to have as your top heel?
It all depends on if they end up doing this UK show, doesn't it?
The UK show is apparently going ahead. Nothing has been set in stone yet, but then why would you have the championship with no show? Personally, I think you should keep the UK championship as a developmental title and leave it on NXT. That's what I think it should be. leave it there. That can be your mid-card thing, championship. That way, you can, instead of just sending superstars from NXT to the main roster, you can work out your main eventers and your mid-carders before they go up.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
This guy that's messaging me, he's a good friend of mine. He's a man after your own heart. He's saying the next. Who do you think the next UK champion should be?
The next UK champion. Oh,
Because I'd definitely say Mandrews.
No, I don't think Mandrews should win it yet.
Really?
No. I think Tyler Bate should win it back. Mainly because
he was exceptional.
Mainly because you've got Trent Seven at the minute, who's too much of a I'm still really good friends with Tyler Bate. I don't really want to get in Tyler Bate's way. He's the future. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I think that if you want a nice long storyline to build, have Tyler Bate win the championship off of Pete Dunne. Let them have a little rivalry. Have Trent Seven in the background, being all you celebrate, I'm really happy for your success. Then you've got that little jealousy storyline coming up, Ben. Tyler's always winning. Why am I not getting these shots? I've been wrestling for longer. You're so much younger. Why are you getting it? And then for him to turn on him, bang, and then him to win the championship on not his first attempt, but maybe a rematch via dirty sort of heel tactics. So I say next champion Tyler Bate, followed by Trent Seven. That's my call.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to disagree with you there. To me, the UK division, I just kind of want it to exist properly at the moment. That's all I want from it right now, is just for it to exist properly. Personally, I think the next UK champion should be Drew McIntyre. I don't know why they threw the NXT championship onto him when they had the UK championship. Yeah. Would have loved to see Pete Dunne versus Drew McIntyre.
That would be a pretty ace match. That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think because he was put onto WWE so long ago and was pegged as the next big thing by Vince McMahon, I don't think they're willing to let Vince look stupid and not let Drew ascend to win the championship. Because I think Drew will win either World Championship, whichever one it'll be, Universal or WWE. But he'll definitely win that at least once, just so Vince McMahon can say he was right. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Because Vince is petty like that, let's face it. He is quite petty.
He's a cunt.
Yeah. It's kind of like with the Triple H situation. I love NXT Triple H, but I hate him on the main roster. That's kind of where I'm fitting at the minute.
Why did he have to squash everyone?
That is the exact point.
Why did he have to come out on top?
That's my problem.
He looked like Bobby Roode's dad.
Yeah. See. It was nice to see him square off against Shinsuke and Bobby, though. That was quite nice. I did really enjoy that, because he did bring them in. So, it was quite good, but he should have got a little bit less offense in than he did, if you ask me, because, he wrestles so sparingly, whereas these other guys are in the ring all the time. At least show a little bit of ring rust or, something like that. I don't mind,
Yeah.
But, he should stick. I want to just retire and stay in the background now, because he's doing so well.
Yeah. Well, who do you think should retire Triple H, if anyone? Who's the person you'd set to retire him?
John Cena. That's what I said. I know that you'd probably get more of a kick out of somebody new who could probably use it better.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be a good way for them both to go. Have John win that match, because Triple H is old school. Triple H is going to lose his last match. I don't care who it's against. He will lose that last match. It's the same as the Undertaker. Undertaker will lose his last match. If it was at WrestleMania just gone, because there's rumours he'll be back. I don't want to believe them. But, I think he should have left when Brock beat him, to be honest with you.
That's what he should have retired.
In my personal opinion, he should have left it there. But with Triple H and John Cena, I think John should beat Triple H, and then both of them just walk up the ramp, and that's it done. they'll obviously come back for like interviews and blah 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 blah. But the person to retire Triple H, I think, should be John Cena. Personal opinion.
That's fair.
Yeah. What about you? What would you say?
Now, for me, the person to retire Triple H would require a storyline. In a perfect world, the person to retire Triple H would be A, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
B, Batista. Or C, Shawn Michaels. But we're not going to get two of those. I wouldn't say Randy Orton anymore because Orton he can't do what he used to be able to do.
No, I agree.
He's had too many injuries. Watching him wrestle now is not like watching, like, you look 10 years ago, he was putting on these amazing matches, but he just can't do it anymore.
No, I
and it's sad because he was one of the best wrestlers in the world.
He was. He really was.
But for me, I'd put Triple H I'd put him against Kevin Owens. Because I think Kevin Owens is the new Triple H.
That would work.
He's got the attitude. You know, the fuck the authority attitude.
Yeah.
But also align myself with the authority attitude. But yeah. Other than Batista or Randy Orton, I think Kevin Owens would be the ideal guy. Of course, if they could get Batista would be good.
See, I heard a rumor circulating about a match that could happen at WrestleMania 34. It's not going to happen. But Batista against The Rock.
If The Rock's going to go against anyone, it's going to be Triple H.
I really want that to happen. I really want that to happen because...
Actually, add him to the retirement list, please.
I think that should happen because they've been in WrestleMania matches before, one match, but it was a fatal four-way also including The Big Show and Mick Foley, and that was at WrestleMania 2000. Yeah. And
it was originally going to be Triple H versus Mick Foley, right?
Yeah, that was the original plan. But obviously that all went to pot and they had to put a McMahon in every corner because McMahon. But, you know, the matches that Triple H and The Rock had with each other were insane. And I think they should, should have another one.
Well, the first ever SmackDown, it ended with Triple H versus The Rock.
It did. I'm pretty sure.
And that was
the special guest referee match. I'm pretty sure that was with Shawn Michaels. Yeah. I think. I'll have to research that, but I think that was the match where Shawn Michaels actually did turn around and super kicked The Rock during the middle of a rock bottom. Because every match up until WrestleMania 28 with Triple H versus The Undertaker and Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as the referee, until that match, any match that Shawn Michaels had officiated with Triple H in, Triple H won, except for that match. So, if you ever see Triple H with Shawn Michaels as a referee, you know who's going to win.
The Undertaker.
Undertaker. Oh. Undertaker.
Because Shawn Michaels was guest ref in the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Except for that one.
Good.
It's the only one.
Good match.
That was a brilliant match. Match of the year. Match of the year.
I remember I hadn't seen that match before WrestleMania 30, and we were discussing that match during the Undertaker match.
We were, along with Jordan, and Dan.
Jordan and Dan. Yeah.
This was the first time we ever met.
First.
For all of the
first people that I'd ever seen.
We'd never met each other before that, and it all came through wrestling. Which comes full circle, really, doesn't it?
Wrestling brings people together.
It does. It's kind of like this round table. Start with the wrestling, end with the wrestling. Doesn't matter what's in between. Because we've the name of this is Survivor Series 2017 and NXT Takeover War Games Roundtable. We haven't even finished NXT yet. We haven't even hit the main event.
Well, we're on the last match.
Yes, right. Let's go to that.
We're on the last match.
Let's go to that. The War Games match. Undisputed Era featuring Adam Cole, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly against the Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor and Roderick Strong, and Sanity, Eric Young, Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane. Thoughts?
I love Killian Dane.
Big Damo, as he was known over
I loved him in WWE WCW. I've loved him in anywhere I've seen him.
He's great.
And he's just so good.
He is brilliant.
Once again, he's a big guy who can move like he's a small guy.
Again, see Samoa Joe, Cassius Ohno,
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, he is just that good.
My favorite moment from this match was, so I can't remember who it was that was holding the steel chair, but they swung with the steel chair and they missed and they bounced it off the rope and smashed them in the face.
Kyle O'Reilly. I can remember sitting there laughing my ass off at that.
And he had to get checked backstage afterwards for concussions because it was a full-on chair shot to the head.
Oh, it's funny. I haven't seen stuff like that since Kurt Angle. Oh, so good. But I gotta be honest. When I saw the cell cage, whatever you want to call it, I was a bit disappointed because it didn't have a roof. Because have you seen any of the old War Games matches from WCW?
There were 2 cages in the old War Games matches. There were 2 rings, weren't there?
2 rings with the cage around it, like you can call it 2 cages, like it was in the very, very start, and then as it got on, it's 1 extra large cage with the roof over the top, and that's what it was originally. Yeah. And then when I saw it at Takeover without the roof, I thought, that's not War Games. It's not got a roof. How are we going to be able to have this match without that? And then I saw the rules then, and it said that they'll come out team by team instead of one person and then another person. At first I thought, again, that's not War Games. Because originally in War Games, every fight, you have 5 minutes of fighting, then every 3 minutes after that, you'd have one person come out, then another person, then another, instead of by teams. But then after a while, after I sat there and thought about it, I kind of liked the idea. It's like, one person is going to have all of his team in it, which means the other 2 people are going to have to coexist for the next 3 minutes at least. And then when the other team comes in, it's basically that one guy on his own can either fight or he can take a breather in the corner while the other 2 teams duke it out. And I did much prefer this iteration of the War Games compared to the WCW one. And then when Killian Dane came to the ring, all nice and slow, whilst Wolf bombed it down the ramp, and he turned around and he just got all these weapons, which I was not expecting, threw it in, and it became possibly one of the best matches of the year by far. I love NXT for moments like these.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking WCW, Starrcade is this weekend.
Yeah, it is. I completely forgot that.
It's not being televised, though.
No.
It's not being televised because they thought it won't make money.
But it'll make plenty of money. It's the same thing with like ECW's One Night Stand. All the ECW loyalists wanted to watch that event. If you brought it back and even stamped like WCW's logo on there somewhere, all the old WCW guys will come back and watch. Even if it's for that one night, they might think, I can get involved in this, I can pick up on the storylines just going. But they're not doing anything with it, and it's a massive disappointment for the company.
Yeah.
But
that's not even the last pay-per-view we have from WCW this month. We've got Clash of Champions too.
Yeah, that's WCW's.
They just like to run WCW's name through the dirt.
See, I'm surprised that it's taken this long to fully use WCW stuff. Like the United States Championship is not WWE's; that is WCW's championship. The Great American Bash was not WWE's; that was WCW's pay-per-view as well. But I'm surprised it's taken this long to even use or think about Starrcade. Because that is WCW's version of WrestleMania. I'm surprised it's taken this long for them to even use it, or any sort of match or gimmick or pay-per-view or whatever. It's taken this long to make them think, we're actually sitting on quite the gold mine of stuff here. And as long as WWE don't absolutely destroy it, it should be fine. Excuse me. Hopefully.
Yeah. So, what would you give NXT Takeover War Games out of 10? Like, honestly.
Out of 10.
Or you can give it a grade.
See, that's hard. That is hard.
Yeah.
Out of 10, that's gotta be at least an 8. And then grade, out of what? What's the highest grade I can give it?
An A star.
Okay. In which case then, I'm gonna give that an A+. Because the action was all varied. You had a bit of high flying. There was technical wrestling. There was brawling. You had a storyline that was really well interwoven. You had Roderick Strong's complete change of character. And you had a match that's been dead for 20 years, near enough, to be revived and brought to a new generation of people that just fitted really well in today's demographic. And it just looked, it was visually impressive. And I can't thank Alexander Wolf enough for taking that powerbomb off of the top rope through the table and legit splitting the back of his head open. Like, there was a massive pool of blood in that ring. And as we all know, blading is illegal in the WWE nowadays. So you know that was a legit cut. And after he took the, fair play to him, he did get back up, take the bump that he was scheduled to take, and then he just lay in the corner for the rest of the match. And thank you, Alexander Wolf.
Yeah.
So, in turn, your score and grade, or either or.
So I give it a 7.5, 7.6.
Right.
Mainly because when you look at NXT TakeOver and you look back through, I still really need a whiteboard.
I want you to get a whiteboard. Back, I've got one that I will be using.
I've got one that my nan's that I'll bring up. But yeah, when you look back through the takeovers, each of them has been incredible in their own way. This was the only one that I felt didn't beat the main roster pay-per-view.
See, when it comes to that,
because the Survivor Series was pretty good.
See, I don't think it beat the main roster, but I don't think it lost to the main roster either. I think I think that if there wasn't a squashy finish at the end of the men's tag team match, then Survivor Series definitely would have overtaken it. If they'd just let it, if they'd just let Zayn and Owens come in for that little interruption, fine, I'd have been able to take that. But the twist and the turn, well, the double turn that Hunter did threw the rest of that match completely off.
But what they could have done is they could have just had. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? We'll get back to this match
when we hit Survivor Series.
Get back to this match. But yeah, in terms of a grade, I'd give it B+.
Okay.
Just below an A.
Yeah.
But over a B, but below an A. It was good. It wasn't great. It was good.
Would you go?
It was better than.
Would you go back and watch it?
Yeah.
If you were to say something about the show as a whole, what would you say about it? If you were to turn around and tell a non-wrestling fan, for instance, to sit down and watch this show, what would you say?
Someone hit themselves in the head with a chair. Now, I tell them. It was a pretty good show. There's some really good wrestlers and really good. If you want to get into wrestling now, if you watch this show, you are watching the future.
Good. I like it. I do like it.
What about you?
I would tell them this show involves a bit of everything. Like, I've got one friend that I got into wrestling mainly because he is a hardcore sort of person. He likes watching people bleed. He likes the hardcore wrestling. He likes the steel chairs, the tables, the ladders, all that.
Yeah.
He's that sort of wrestling fan. And I'd be able to use the War Games match specifically for that. Then I can say, there you go. That is for you. If you sit there and watch this event, that's how your night's going to end. But then I might get somebody then that might want, I don't know, women's wrestling. Now, it's not the best women's match I've ever seen, but you get to see 4 superstars in their prime that will carry the company into the future with women's wrestling. All of them are completely capable of carrying a main roster championship. So there's your women's division. But then you've got the likes of Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream for anybody then that really wants to see a good, pure wrestling match. So this, I think, has something for everyone.
Yeah. Although, I'm not gonna lie, when I get people into wrestling, the first thing I show them is one match. It's from 2011.
CM Punk vs John Cena.
It's from Money in the Bank.
Saw it coming.
It's a perfect match.
See, I go completely the opposite direction. I like to do the shock factor, and then I show them the wrestling. The first match that I am likely to show anybody is a fatal four-way ladder match for the WWE Championship at Armageddon 2006. Contested between the current champions of Brian Kendrick and Paul London, taking on Dave Taylor and William Regal, taking on the Hardys, taking on Joey Mercury and Johnny Nitro, so Eminem. And it's a match which is famous, and this is why I showed people this match. It's got massive hits all the way through, but it's where the Hardys hit the ladder straight into Mercury's face. And that's the shock factor, because it's so real. People are just hooked there, like, how the hell did that happen? I'm like, wait, you get to see stuff like that without even any sort of hardcore sort of gimmicks involved. This stuff just happens. And then I'll just show them normal matches, and that's how I get people involved into wrestling. I show them the shock, then I show them the wrestling. Hook them first, and then they get reeled in all on their own. And so far, hasn't failed me.
Failures? Before we get into Survivor Series then, what was the first wrestling match you ever watched?
Oh.
The one that or rather the one that got you really invested into wrestling.
The one that got me invested into wrestling? The earliest memory that I can think of like that. It's probably it's gotta be The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17. I think that would, in the very same night you had, the first ever TLC match, but that's not what got me into wrestling. My very first ever favorite wrestler was The Rock, and that match, even though The Rock lost, that match got me hooked on wrestling. As to my earliest knowledge, because I can't ever remember not being a wrestling fan. I've always watched wrestling, since I was little. My parents watched it, so I just grew up with it naturally, as it works out. So I'm happy to have lived 22 full years of wrestling, which is why I'm a WWE guy. I watched a bit of WCW, but not enough to know amazing back catalogue knowledge of it. Like you, I know that your first wrestling event was WrestleMania 30, but out of every match you've seen, what was the one that made you sit there and think, that's what I like, that's what I love, that's wrestling?
So the first match I ever saw, back in 2013, Jordan bought 2K14, the Undertaker edition.
Yeah. Hold on.
And it included a list of...
Where is it? Well, I've got... But not only that, I do, somewhere, I have absolutely no idea where it's gone. But I do have the coffin here somewhere. It's supposed to be here where I'm sitting. I have congregated all of my wrestling memorabilia into this one little section, and it's hiding. Let's leave it at that. But
you know the DVD that came with it?
Yes.
Jordan and Dan were at my house, and I had never watched wrestling before. As a kid, I was never exposed to wrestling, so it never kind of grabbed me. I imagine if I'd watched it as a kid, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, I would have loved it. I remember hearing all my friends talking about, like, oh my god, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. When I was in primary school, they were like, it's Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. And I was like, I don't know who either of those people are. But, the first match, they sat me down and they showed me Kane versus The Undertaker from WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
18?
I'd say it's 18.
Yeah. Really, it was a good in terms of storytelling. It's a great match.
As most of their matches normally do.
First match that got me hooked was Daniel Bryan versus John Cena.
SummerSlam? Maybe, yeah, I thought so. Is it the one where he got screwed out of the championship?
Got screwed out of the championship afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you said, The Rock is the guy who got you into wrestling.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan's the one that got you.
Daniel Bryan is the guy who got me into wrestling.
And it's more than suitable. I can remember all four of us crying when Daniel Bryan won the championship at 30. God, that gets you.
Yeah, man.
You've just lost the Undertaker's undefeated streak, but don't worry, you got Daniel Bryan. Yep. Yeah. Here's your consolation. Well, for about 1 month.
I was so excited that I stood up out of my chair whilst I was on crutches.
I know.
Without my crutches, I stood up out of my chair because I was just so happy. I was so overcome with emotion.
That's what wrestling does. It brings it out to you. Like at this year's WrestleMania 33 this year, when the Hardys music hit, I spilt my pint everywhere. I was gone. Like I had a gut feeling they were going to show up, but I didn't think it'd be at Mania. I thought it'd be at Raw, and I lost my shit.
Well, until that moment, my pick for winning the match was Enzo and Cass. I was like, okay, it's their time now, right?
I thought
as soon as the music hit,
I thought the club would retain. To be honest with you.
What have they done with the club?
It hurts.
They don't
even call them the club anymore, do they? They call them the Good Brothers. Which
Balor Club is never happening.
No. People. There was a photo. If you know when the New Day came down Raw last week or the week before, when Kurt Angle brought the Raw locker room out, the first three around the corner was Finn Balor, followed directly by Gallows and Anderson, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're definitely teaming them up." And it's like, sit down. It's not happening.
Sit down. It ain't happening. It's too late. It's
gone
now.
It has gone.
They just can't do it now. It's too late.
Which is unfortunate because it would have been so good. It would have been so good.
It would have been amazing. It would have been absolutely incredible.
It would have been. Right. Shall we go on to Survivor Series now?
Yeah.
Because I think we've been
first match of the
evening. I think we've been going now for about an hour and a half. It is now midnight as we are recording. So I think we'll shimmy through Survivor Series nice and quick, smart. I'll just run through the results of the pre-show. We don't need to talk about it. First match was Elias defeating Matt Hardy.
Elias, but I just didn't care.
Yeah. A match which I think should have been a Survivor Series elimination match for the Cruiserweights, but instead we had Enzo Amore defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Kalisto again. And then after that, we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeating Breezango. And that...
Yeah, that match happened.
Yeah, it was there. But that's your pre-show. And now we're on to the main show, because we're just going to brush past the pre-show.
First match.
First match. The Shield versus the New Day. Now...
Fucking great match.
I really enjoyed this match. It was a really good back and forth. And it was quite good. As much as I don't like Roman Reigns, it was quite good to actually hear the face being cheered for a change. Because he did get in, and they did actually cheer him in this match, which... Right, that did take me by surprise, but they did cheer him.
Yeah.
But
the only problem I had with this match, the triple powerbomb from the top rope?
Yes.
It looked a bit too much like they had to lower Kofi down slowly. Yeah. It looked kind of like they lowered him down slowly, and they kind of lost some of the impact. It was a cool move, but it just kind of lost a little bit of the impact.
Kofi's taken a lot bigger hits, though, so I don't know why they had to give him the cushion.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was a bit unfortunate that they had to do that, but I can see why. But it's the same thing then with the Elimination Chamber where they've padded the floors now instead of having the grate. Like I'm happy with the fact they can do more moves outside the ring now, but I know that they're hitting a soft landing, so I know that there's no danger there. But there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that match happened. Raw 1, SmackDown 0. Our next match, I will read it out and then I'll read the eliminations. Team Raw defeating Team SmackDown. And Team Raw consisted of Alicia Fox, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Asuka, and Nia Jax, whilst Team SmackDown consisted of Becky Lynch, Naomi, Carmella, Natalya, and Tamina with Lana. And the eliminations go as follows. Becky Lynch of SmackDown eliminated by Bayley. Bayley of Raw eliminated by Tamina of SmackDown. Well, I don't even need to say that. Nia Jax of Raw eliminated by Tamina via countout. So I don't know why Tamina is listed as the person who eliminated her. Maybe it's because she was the legal person, but she counts as getting the victory. Alicia Fox of Raw eliminated by Naomi. Naomi of SmackDown eliminated by Sasha Banks. Carmella of SmackDown eliminated by Asuka. Sasha Banks of Raw eliminated by Natalya. Tamina of SmackDown eliminated by Asuka. Natalya of SmackDown eliminated by Asuka, leaving the sole survivor, Asuka.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about that match? You know, we'll do it in quick summary now because it is getting late, and I guess people ain't going to be watching anymore.
I liked the match. I think Becky Lynch should have stayed in longer.
It's the whole Shinsuke Nakamura thing again. Yeah.
I think Bayley should have stayed in longer.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely longer than Alexa Bliss. Not Alexa Bliss. Alicia Fox. What is wrong with me? Alicia Fox, like. It just kind of... I don't know, man. I just wasn't... I liked that Asuka was the sole survivor.
That is the main point I took away, because I thought that if they were going to eliminate Asuka, they would have done what they did with Nia Jax and do it by a countout. Because you need to keep Asuka looking strong, because you can't have... If you're going to let SmackDown win, Asuka needs to go by either countout or disqualification. There's no way that Asuka's going to get disqualified. Yeah. So you need to keep her looking strong, to keep her storyline moving forward, to keep her undefeated, and to have her eliminate 2 people at the end on her own, but 3 overall in the match, shows how dominant a competitor that she actually is.
Yeah.
Which is what we needed to carry over from NXT, because I think at the minute they're booking her the way she should be, but I think they could add a little something, because I think it's been a bit lackluster since she's gone to Raw. But you know, that's me.
One thing I will say is next time we will start the round table much earlier.
Oh yes.
Today was under extraneous circumstances. Those who were watching, I was in Merthyr and the trains were just fucky with me.
I needed to go shopping because it's payday and I've got 0 food in my cupboards. I've got food now, but I didn't. I do have food now.
Food is important.
It's important. I've got like chocolate and everything. I got chicken nuggets. I did get chicken nuggets. Oh
hell yeah.
But I did buy the new Spider-Man movie as well. Had to do that. Perfect movie.
So good.
That would be Raw 2, SmackDown 0. Next match, SmackDown's United States Champion Baron Corbin defeating Raw's Intercontinental Champion The Miz with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel.
This match happened.
This shouldn't have happened. This should have been...
Don't get me wrong, it wasn't... I was surprised by how good of a match it was, seeing as it was Baron Corbin.
I just think that Corbin should have lost, to be honest with you. I can see why they had Corbin win. Yeah. That was one of my favourite parts of your video the other day. Perfect.
That's going to become a very big part of what I do.
I love it.
King Ross used to have his king. I'm just going to throw the money in the bank with
it. It's good. I love it. But I can see why they did that. Because of the rest of the results. They needed Asuka to win on Raw. They needed Lesnar to win to keep him looking strong. They needed Raw to win for the whole Triple H, burial. But I think...
Well, I would disagree on the Lesnar one, but we'll come to that when we get to the match.
Well, you don't have long to wait. But I think they could have either reversed the Shield decision and let the New Day win, or they could have reversed the women's decision and let Alexa win.
Yeah.
That's where I think they could have made a little break, but that's just me. But after that match, it was Raw 2, SmackDown 1. for that. After that match, we had another tag match, another championship match. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos defeated Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. Now, I like this match.
That should have been a match.
Huh?
That should have been an amazing match, but it was a great match.
I really like this match because
yeah,
I said when Sheamus and Cesaro were fighting a year odd ago and they were doing their best of 7 series that these guys would make an absolutely amazing tag team. Me and my ex-girlfriend who was sitting there, she wasn't all big on these guys. But I was sitting there and I was saying, they both got similar styles of wrestling. They're both pretty good in the ring. Cesaro a lot more than Sheamus, but with tag team, one can carry the other. It works. And I thought to myself, they were going to be an amazing tag team. My ex-girlfriend was like, no, that's not going to work. And then when they drew the very final match, the next night Raw McFoley threw them into a tag team, and look where they are now. I think it's the 3-time Raw Tag Team Champions, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good match. Usos, since their heel turn, have put on amazing match after amazing match after amazing match, because I got quite bored of them when they were faces. But since they've turned heel, I loved them. Their Hell in a Cell match against the New Day is one of my favourite Hell in a Cell matches. And not a bit of blood was spilt, but that match was so good.
That was so brutal, though.
It told a story as well.
Brutal.
And that was the best part about it. It was great. You even had the comedic elements as well, thrown in with like the instruments getting chucked in by Big E.
Yeah.
The cowbell. They're so good. So good. They're just so original, and that's what I like about it. But yeah, those guys, the Usos and The Bar, putting on, I think it could have been a better match, but I did really enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah, definitely.
You need a little bit, you need a good match to see what a great match is. Because if they're all great, you're not going to enjoy them as much. So I'm happy with what we had here. And I think that, it pushed what, could have been like a sort of title match between the Shield and who are they going to go up against? The Usos. I would have liked to see that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they dropped the whole Shield element. And I called it first. If you go and watch my Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, you did have the Shield versus the New Day there. I beat the WWE to it. But mine was a ladder match.
Yep.
Mine was a lot nicer.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
It was cool.
After that match,
what I will say about the Usos...
It was a good match for what it was.
Yeah, what I will say about the Usos is they are what Roman Reigns should be.
Yeah.
They're the cocky Samoans.
Which
That's what Roman Reigns should be.
He works better.
If he embraced that...
He works so much better when he's supposed to be booed.
When he came out after beating The Undertaker... And
he just
played the crowd.
He said like
15 minutes and then said 2 words.
And that was it. That was the best promo he's ever cut.
Yeah.
It was so good. I remember sitting there and think, like, I'm going to bring my ex into this again. I'm trying fucking not to, but she loved Roman Reigns. And I hated him with a burning passion. I hated him. And I'm just sitting there. She's clapping. Ha ha ha. I'm like, oh, he's getting under my skin. That's what heel is supposed to do. And I was just sitting there thinking, no. But it was working.
Yeah.
Before he beat The Undertaker, he was going to say, I'm going to destroy him. He's my bitch. This is my yard. And then when he beat him, he had that one heel 5 minutes. The next week, he apologised. What a wasted victory. What was that?
That's why I don't want The Undertaker to have retired that match. Because that was like a massive just throwaway.
Well, Roman didn't even fight him properly. Did you see how many times he botched trying to pick Undertaker up?
Yeah.
So bad. Like, Roman is a good wrestler. He's not exactly shit. But...
No.
But, he should have performed a lot better at Mania against Taker. Oh,
yeah.
Silly boy. But, yeah. We're getting ahead of ourselves again.
Yeah.
After the tag team match, Raw 2, SmackDown 2. After that, the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair defeated Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss. Now, I think Alexa should have won this.
Definitely.
I think that she had more to gain from a victory here. Because for some reason, Charlotte kept saying, oh, before there was a goddess on Raw, there was a queen. And it's like, but you're not on Raw anymore. You can kind of say the same thing about SmackDown, you know, because Alexa's on SmackDown. Yeah. They've just sort of switched brands. But, you know, I agree with the fact they put Charlotte in that match instead of Natalya. The same thing as putting AJ in the match instead of Jinder. It just worked better. And it made what was a lackluster pay-per-view with, like, Brock versus Jinder, Alicia, I'm doing a you, Alexa versus Natalya. He made what was looking to be a lackluster pay-per-view into, you know, with like Jason Jordan on the Raw team, for instance, into a great team just by changing a few superstars. And, you know, I think Alexa could have done a lot better with a win here. The match was great. I did enjoy the match. They've got such good...
I'm just glad they didn't do a screw job.
I missed that.
I'm just glad they didn't do a screw job.
I thought that would have happened. I really did.
I thought that was going to happen.
But it didn't.
I was really worried.
It didn't, though, and that is the best part.
It didn't.
Oh, I got a runny nose.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. I'm happy with that. Raw 2, SmackDown 3. Next match. Raw's Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, along with Paul Heyman, defeating WWE Champion AJ Styles of SmackDown. Now, you and me were talking about this when we knew that Jinder lost the championship, and I said about the possibility of having AJ versus Brock at Survivor Series. You know, loads of people were speculating that AJ was going to drop the championship immediately back to Jinder, which clearly didn't happen, and I'm so fucking thankful that it didn't. But
yeah,
we got, you know, Brock Lesnar's selling in this match was amazing. Then again, AJ Styles' selling in this match was, they were both just perfectly doing what every superstar on the roster should be doing. Throwing punches. AJ was making Brock look like Brock was destroying him. He was throwing him like a small child. When he threw him legitimately to the side of the ring announcers, into the announcers table, and the welts came up immediately on his arm. And he got back into the ring, destroyed him in the ring. But then when AJ put the calf crusher on Brock sold that to perfection. And then the way he just smashed AJ's head into the ground was just beautiful. It was just something to watch. And I'm really happy when WWE pull their head out of their ass and show us stuff like this. It makes me so much happier.
More importantly, when Brock Lesnar pulls his head out of his ass.
Yeah.
Because he has been lazy over the last few years.
WrestleMania 30, I think, WrestleMania 32 against Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. Lazy as fuck.
And you could see it live. It was not pretty. It wasn't pretty. You know,
if you looked at his face, he was like, you just kind of like...
There was supposed to be a lot more weapon shots in that match. You know, it was a street fight. And I think, we got like a kendo stick and a steel chain. That was about it. Normally you get tables and whatnot, but the match went on for about 5 minutes. And it was... didn't even deserve to be on a WrestleMania. Didn't even deserve a pre-show, I don't think. But there we go. But that match... I think that was my favourite match of the night.
It showed that Brock still got it.
He has. He can still move. And I hope that when his contract does expire the night after Mania, that he does sign on again. Because there's so many more matches that I'd like to see Brock participate in. I would love to see Brock take on Shinsuke Nakamura, for instance. That I would love to see.
Another Samoa Joe.
Yeah. You know, a one-on-one, because we haven't had that yet. Yes, we have. Yeah, they're at Great Balls of Fire. But I'd like to see like a SummerSlam style, you know, big, you know, blown up sort of extravaganza. I want them to bring the fucking fireworks back first. Because it looks weird with Brock just going, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's like when you do it in the mirror after you've had like a shower, you do that when you're listening to the music, and you look in the mirror and you're like, I look ridiculous.
I'm so glad I'm
you
on
look
my
at him
own.
and you're like, you look ridiculous.
But it's just, bring the fireworks back, you know? You're making all this money off the WWE Network. If you've got all this money to chuck onto... Hang on, I got a thing on my phone, going. You got all this money to chuck on everything else. Just give us the pyro. You know, it's not much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that match. Raw 3, SmackDown 3. As we head into the final match. And as with the former, I'll read the result and tell you the eliminations. So you have Team Raw consisting of Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe and Triple H, defeating Team SmackDown consisting of Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura and John Cena. And the order of eliminations were Shinsuke Nakamura of SmackDown by Braun Strowman, Bobby Roode of SmackDown by Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe of Raw by John Cena, John Cena of SmackDown by Kurt Angle, Finn Balor of Raw by Randy Orton, Randy Orton of SmackDown by Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle of Raw by Shane McMahon, Shane McMahon by Triple H. Survivors, Braun Strowman and Triple H. Thoughts?
I'm going to give Triple H his own rant video. But more importantly, I think the person who should have been the sole survivor in this match should have been Braun Strowman.
I agree.
They should have been taken out. Because if you'd had Braun Strowman squash the last guys, I wouldn't have minded. Because it's Braun Strowman.
He needs the push.
He needs to look like a monster right now.
Yeah.
Triple H gains nothing from this.
No, he doesn't. It's like...
He just gains a bit of ego.
I'm quite upset on the SmackDown side that they got the two biggest potential stars get eliminated first and leave the non-wrestler and the two people who have passed their prime now as, you know, the remainders. You know,
exactly.
I would have been happy to have... I think it would have been good to have Cena eliminated first, because then you're like, whoa, what's happening here? Then have Randy, then possibly Bobby, because let's face it, Shinsuke's a better worker than Bobby Roode. Not by much, but I think Shinsuke just nips it. I'm okay with Shane being at the end because he did sort of get personally involved in the storyline, but not by much. Yeah. But I think to make Braun come over as a bigger monster, he should have... SmackDown should have dominated Raw throughout the match and eliminated them all till it was like, say, 4-on-1, and then have Braun somehow muscle his way all the way through them. Maybe not 4, maybe say 3.
Or what they could have done is they could have had everyone on SmackDown do what they did when they put Braun through the table. They could have had everyone on SmackDown take Braun out.
Yeah.
Together.
That would have been good.
Because that would have kept Braun looking strong as fuck.
Yeah, it would have. You know, you could have had Kane come back and have him brawl backstage with him. And, you know, that's setting up the Kane rivalry as well, then, instead of just having Kane show up on just Raw. You know, I've got the unpopular opinion of everybody saying, oh, how can you have Kane destroy Finn Balor? I personally liked what Kane did with Finn Balor by beating him, because if you build Kane up as a legitimate competitor, and then you have Braun just smack him away like a little bitch, you make Braun look even stronger.
Yeah.
But that's just...
I agree, but I think they were much better people to use than Balor. I feel like Balor's at a stage in his career where it can really damage him at this point.
I think that he still had a little bit of legitimacy left because he beat AJ Styles the night before. That a clean victory for Kane over Finn Balor. Because if you used anybody lesser than Balor, really, then you wouldn't have really had the same result. Like, I sat there while I watched that, and I was really shocked. But then seeing that they're going to be putting him into a storyline with Braun Strowman made me think, oh, makes sense. I can see where they're going with this. And I kind of want Kane to stop jumping Braun, squashing more people, because I would like to see another Kane squash match, to be honest. I'd like to see more Braun squash matches as well, and just see where that goes before building up. Like, I'm hoping that their culmination comes at the Royal Rumble, not before. Because I think that's got the possibilities of it being a really big match, and it should have been more solidified in this Survivor Series match. But that's my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see your comment. I agree. Yeah, I wish they wouldn't do what they're doing to Nakamura.
There's so much potential with Nakamura that they're just wasting. And
they've given him this ridiculous Prince gimmick.
Yeah, what is that all about?
Working. Prince is dead, so they wanted to capitalize on it.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, none. He's not.
No.
He was never called the artist back in NXT. Why would you want to do that now? It just.
You can't say, oh, New Japan don't want us calling him the King of Strong Style, because you called him it for like 3 fucking years.
Down at NXT, that's all they said. He had signs, t-shirts, everything.
Yeah. You know? Every indie promotion was calling him the King of Strong Style. And WWE were calling him King of Strong Style.
And then they just turned around and said, oh, the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. And it's like, we
all knew when Shinsuke came up, he was going to be made into a joke by McMahon.
Oh, it was obvious. He's the Asian guy. That's just what happens. And if you're not American, if you're not American, you're completely able to get poked fun at by Vince. Vince is going to do it to you at one point or another. And it's just really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really sucks. Like,
remember when Rusev wasn't an afterthought?
I love Rusev. Wow.
He's so good.
Yes, he's got such talent.
He's got such a good off-screen personality. If they could just bring that into the frame.
Have you seen him on Instagram?
What, in his underwear doing the fucking lawn mowing?
Oh, Lana put up a photo of herself eating dinner, and then it said the caption was, "What's your favourite meal?" And then underneath, Rusev wrote, "Wife." And there's another one. They're both couching on a bed, and her knees do look quite purple. And it says, "I wonder why Lana's knees are purple here." Hint, hint. I was like,
He's a king.
Oh, did you see when Raw invaded SmackDown? Lana got dragged off screen, and well, it only lasted it was a split second thing as the camera panned up, and you see Lana get dragged out of the corner of the screen. You can't see who dragged her, but Rusev put that onto Twitter, and as the caption it says, "Dragging Lana back to the bedroom." I love it. He's
he's so good.
They need to,
and even I love how pissed off he was at John Cena for just coming into Survivor Series. Did you see the thing he put up of congratulations to my best friend John Cena. You totally earned your spot.
It was brilliant. See, they need to utilize people like this who are actually got a social following as well, and he's actually putting himself out there.
Yeah.
He's basically doing what Zack Ryder did through using the internet, and hopefully he can get realised and pushed. I'm really hoping for it. I say that he goes.
But that's also why Zack Ryder's push got stopped. Because he got himself over.
Well, that's just too bad. If you get yourself over, the WWE should think, oh, that was easy, and then use that momentum.
Yeah.
It's been done for them.
Exactly.
They just don't do that.
Yeah, you're doing your job. They're doing their job for them.
You don't need.
Doesn't make any sense.
You don't need to think of a way to build them up. They've done it naturally. You don't need to do anything. Just use it. Nice and easy. Lost opportunities right there. But that happens, unfortunately.
It's just one of those things. You can't get around it.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing with Triple H. But we can basically, well, I will announce about the whole Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens interfering in the match, and I think it's finally good that a Canadian screwed over a McMahon at Survivor Series, and that I applauded. It's gutted that it wasn't in Canada, but it was at Survivor Series where it happened, so that's close enough. You know, I'll take it. I will take it. So I was quite happy with that. The Triple H screw job thing was a bit shit and naff, but
it was obvious.
Oh, it was obvious. It was definitely obvious.
Then again, so was the Sami thing. So was Sami and Kevin Owens coming down.
Yeah, everyone
saw that coming.
Yeah, but the aftermath of the match is what made that match then good. Because I don't think I've ever seen such fear in Triple H's eyes as I did when Braun Strowman held him down in that turnbuckle. I don't think I've ever seen Triple H look like that in my life. And that,
like, the man's eyes came out of his head.
It was perfect. I've got that photo saved to my phone because that's how much I loved it. It's great. But then
meme material, right?
But then after that, after Survivor Series went off the air, after he'd already done his running power slam twice, did you see the video of Triple H
walking into the?
Yes. Somebody captioned.
I don't know how you do that.
Somebody captioned that video with, "I think Braun hit him harder than he thought."
Yeah, he sold. Did you see the video after Survivor Series where he got up after being knocked out by Braun? He got up and he's just fucking walking around around the ring, and then he just falls backwards.
Oh.
It's like, what the fuck?
It's like Ric Flair all over again.
Yeah.
But I don't think he meant to walk into the Tron because he was looking at the camera, and then he turned around and bang, straight into the lights. But he sold it. He did sell it because you could tell it was a bit over the top reactions. Because if you turn around and bump yourself into some lights, you normally just go, "Oh, all right then." But he walked into it, stumbled to the floor, got back up, and I was like, he just sold a Titantron bump without anybody throwing him into it. Great.
How do you walk into it after like 20 odd years wrestling?
You should know where it is.
You should know where it is by now.
So good. So good.
Fantastic, man.
But on a whole, what would you say about Survivor Series this year?
I hate Triple H.
Okay.
And I hate Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
But I like Survivor Series.
What would you give a rating out of 10?
7.8.
So just nipping over NXT Takeover.
Just over NXT. Just by that much.
Match of the night.
Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles.
I'd have to agree. I would have to agree. See, myself, as an overall rating for me, I'd probably give Survivor Series this year a 6.5. Just off of Takeover, mainly because of the screwy finish at the end. Like, it's possibly one of the best pay-per-views that WWE have done this year. Actually, you know what? I'm going to up it. I'd say about a 6.8, 6.9. Just a smidge off of a 7. But it's definitely one of the best pay-per-views that WWE have put on this year. It's, it's one of the best Survivor Series, I think. If they'd have just kept that match good at the end, I think that it would have had a higher score. I think they did need more storyline going into the event, which they didn't give. It was just, Raw versus SmackDown. Could have played it a bit better, but 6.9. That's what I'm going to go with for Survivor Series, which I think is fair. And now we've just got to look forward to future pay-per-views now. What's next? Now we've got Clash of Champions to be followed by NXT Takeover Philadelphia.
Then I don't know what the SmackDown one is because
Clash of Champions
I don't know what the Raw one is
this year.
I don't know what the Raw one is.
It's become now it switches every year, which is why SmackDown had a Hell in a Cell this year, but Raw had it last year. So
Money in the Bank next year though is both brands.
It is it?
Yeah,
because we don't know if the Money in the Bank is just for SmackDown at the moment. Can she cash it on Charlotte or can she cash on Alexa? It's not being specified.
That's what I was thinking.
I
was wondering if she could cash in during that match and take both championships. Doesn't say in the contract that you can't.
No, that would have been interesting to see. That would have been interesting, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I think that we can wrap up with it. I think we've gone for damn near about 2 hours now, which has been pretty good. Yeah. Considering, it took a long time to even get to Survivor Series after NXT, talk about NXT and who should retire Kurt Angle. But, yeah, I think that it's been a pretty successful show. I'm actually quite looking forward to the next one. We should actually do more like this.
We should do this We should do this more often.
We should. This has actually worked rather well.
We should pick a topic and do this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly give Smack talk. SmackDown was shit this week. You're welcome. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of SmackDown this week.
Yeah, I wasn't either. For what was there.
No.
I think the debuts were the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was about as far as it goes.
Why did Kevin Owens get on his hands and his knees?
That was a bit weird.
Begging Daniel Bryan.
That was weird.
That was just weird.
Yeah. That shouldn't have happened.
I like seeing Daniel Bryan's hair back though.
Yeah. It's a lot better, isn't it?
It's like that far off what it was in SummerSlam 2013 now.
He'll get there. Just need the beard to come out now. We'll wait. We can wait.
We can wait for that.
We can.
But yeah, I've been Joel.
I've been Ash. This has been the 3 Count.
From the 3 Count. Check in with us for more videos and updates.
And we'll
see you soon.
See you soon. Good night, guys. Thanks for watching.